So there's a process, I think, as we go through not just sales or our job, but through life, that some things provoke you to think differently about something you already know a lot about. And so that's what I want to share with you just over the next few minutes, that I think selling is one of the greatest professions anybody can have. It has been so good to me for so many years. Man, I could count that up, but 78, I hate to even do the math on that, you know. But I've never really been out of selling, at least in my mind, since that time. Hey, no doing the math in the back. I see you back there. Sorry. Yeah, it's a long time. It means I'm old, okay? So, but here's the thing. This marketplace doesn't care how experienced you are. They don't care how good you used to be. What they really want is how good are you going to be next week? And that's the continuing improvement. That's the better in all of us. So I'm just going to share with you in the next few minutes, what would that look like to have your best year ever? Because you're going to see it now. I just got my email from Tony Robbins in Success yesterday. The ultimate guide to having your best year ever. Yeah, and I've already had so many best years ever. That's really exciting, because if it's the best ever, it's going to be really good. You look up on Amazon, there's all these books out there about having your best year ever. And a lot of that stuff is really logical and practical, and it makes perfect sense. But a lot of it doesn't work for me. And that's the thing, guys. It's a personal growth and personal development. Because if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work. And that's why you see great coaches coach individuals differently. I just saw your video on LinkedIn, all you guys. I guess Ashley put that together, but all you guys talking about, man, that's awesome. And you know, and that's one of the things that I think Treg maybe mentioned that about people get coached differently because you have different strengths and different areas that you need to improve. And so that's the great thing about great leaders and great coaches is, I mean, there's a set of standards, there's a foundation, there's fundamentals, but then there's little things here and there that elevate or accelerate an individual's game. So let's talk about what would that mean for you to have your best year ever. And here's the rest of the story. There's still a little time left in the hourglass for this year, right? Still a little sand left to have a big finish. But one of the things I learned, and still learning, ING, over the years is a lot of people weren't receptive to new messages because of old experience. So what I found is my challenge needed to be just about provoking individuals to think differently about something they already knew a lot about, right? So if you just get one thing from this, and I'll tell you at the end, I'm gonna give you the option if you want. You can have an ebook that I wrote many years ago. It's been revised a few times. It's 25 pages or so on uncommon goal setting, because goals are more than just a number. So if you want that, I'm going to tell you how you can get that. You can email me for it, and I can send you, a digital download on that. And I'll also give you that list if you want that. But let's just talk for the next few minutes about thinking differently about goals. Because as I said, as a young salesperson, when somebody gives me a number, I thought, man, there's got to be more to goals than that. And as I discovered later on, there absolutely was. So here's one of the things that I used as a director of sales, and it really helped everybody to focus on proactive things. And this, you can see that's from 1999. My best quarter is going to be this. And the reason I did that, one of the things Zig used to say was, you can plan August is going to be my best month. Well, how do you know that? Because I'm going to plan. I'm going to lay the groundwork. I'm going to build toward August. I'm going to have more. At that time, he was selling cookware, demonstrations, right? I'm going to see more people. I'm going to lead up and build up and create all this momentum. So when I hit that, it's just going to create all this momentum, and I'm going to ride that wave. And momentum it's a huge thing in selling and generating revenues. So this is one of the things that we used. And again, not that, this helps you guys or you care about it, but I'm just showing you an example. We also focused on 10 accounts that if we landed those accounts, it's a game changer. And maybe you have those accounts, maybe you don't. Maybe you need to find those accounts. That's the how. And I'm going to show you something at the end of this presentation that really messed me up. Even with all my years of experience, nobody had ever said that to me. And it's about a 3-minute video, and I'm going to share it with you. But these top 10 active accounts, and then I had 10, got to go get these guys. So that was the thing I was working on the bulk of the time. That was the thing I was teaching and coaching our other people to work on. We hadn't made goal in a year and a half. In the next 2 years, we set 9 of the top 10 sales revenue months in the 25-year history of that company. Now, and they get all the credit. It was mostly the same people who thought and then acted differently. So when Mr. Rohn said to me, and I know I've talked with you guys about that before, Jim Rohn was, I call him my chief mentor. He came into my life at a time when I really needed somebody to invest in me, to bring different messages. That was about 1986. And when he talked about setting goals for your life, nobody had ever said that to me. I mean, Zig sort of talked about it, but I hadn't bought in. I'd heard it, but I hadn't bought into it. But when Mr. Rohn came along and talked about basically what my message became, and really through this book, The 10 Commitments, was that life is bigger than work. And not everybody gets the memo on that until something, sadly, tragic happens in their life. And then you realize you can lay down the work ball, but you can't lay down the life ball. Somebody in your life, something happens to them, or something happens in your family, and all of a sudden it's all about life. So life is bigger than work. Life goals had to come first. I'd never done that before until Mr. Rohn talked about it. Some people tell you you need to be specific with your goals. I'm going to tell you I found that's not always true. Some things, yes, be specific, but some things you can't be specific because you cannot know where you can go. I'll tell you, and I'll share the list with you that I wrote down in 1987. It literally took about a year for even Mr. Rohn to get to me. But I wrote down on a piece of paper, write a book and publish it. That was in 1987. I wrote it on a yellow legal pad. This came out in 2002. It literally took me 10 years to write my first book. And I've shared that message many times with many audiences, and people say, my gosh, man, 10 years? I said, yeah, how's yours coming along? Right? How do you write a book? You can't. But if you write a little something every day, and all of a sudden you begin to get momentum, and you see this thing building up, and you look back, and all of a sudden this wave is with you, not against you. Because in the beginning it seemed like, there's no way you can do that. There's no way you can write every day. There's no way you can play every day. There's no way you can journal every day. Well, there is. But until you begin, it seems so hard. It's actually easy to do. But it's easier not to do. And that's the option that most people choose. Man, I'm busy. I got no time for that. I mean, I can't be writing a book. I got to go make some sales. So when I read Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits, 1989, man, that book was amazing to me. It's still one of the books that I refer back to. Out of that book came another book called First Things First. I highly recommend both of those books. Even if you've read them, I would encourage you to go back and read them again, because the 7 habits are just amazing. And one of those habits is all about goal setting. Begin with the end in mind. And that means so many different things, because once upon a time, I just thought it'd be cool to write a book. I want to write a book. Well, how are you going to do it? I got no idea. Well, how are you going to publish it? I don't know. But I had written that down, and somehow, as some of my mentors said, subconsciously, you go to work on that. And then you just keep walking in that direction, and one day, I mean, there's a little more to it than that, right? Or you write down Play Pebble Beach. So I just wrote that down on a yellow legal pad once upon a time. Play Pebble Beach. Took me 20 years to check that one off the list. I had no idea how it was going to happen. In fact, for a while I thought, that's impossible, man. That's never going to happen. You can't do that. You can't have that kind of negative talk. You've already written it down. So somewhere inside you, there's this thing that wants to do that. And that's cool. And sometimes you have to revise it. Sometimes you have to give yourself more time. I didn't set a time limit. I just said, in my life, play Pebble Beach. Not, I want to play Pebble Beach, or I'd like to play Pebble Beach. I just put play Pebble Beach. Cool. So begin with the end in mind. What is it you want to do or have or be or see, or where do you want to go? What would you change about your life or your work if you could